Hey folks, Dumac the Artist coming at you from the last time in my current hidden bunker deep within the bowels of the city. Um, I'm making this video to MrRepzion in response to his video about his journey from believing in a religion or believing in God to not believing in God. You know, and let's put it this way. I'm over 40 years old and I'm still working on my own belief system, as it were. And, it takes time. And it takes a lot of not only reading and gaining a whole bunch of knowledge, but also some time for introspection. I fall into the theistic agnostic category at this point, where I believe that there's something as far as a creator to the universe. I just don't necessarily believe that the religions have got it right. I'm of the opinion that a lot of the religions that center around the idea of a creator deity or deities, whatever the case may be, pretty much have only one facet or one side to the story. Now, in my particular case, I actually do like attending religious rituals. I go to church, albeit a Unitarian Universalist one, and if I were to be hard-pressed on some key theological questions, I would consider myself a neo-pagan as opposed to a hardline agnostic, because A, I happen to like pagan rituals, and two, a lot of my theology would agree with more of a neo-pagan slant than, say, an Abrahamic or Christian one, Judeo-Christian, excuse me. What I would suggest you do, though, and this is just, my own personal thoughts on this, I would avoid putting a label on yourself at this particular point in time, because right now you're still in a transition phase where you're reading a lot of information, you're trying to process a lot of information, and you're trying to come at it from a, what's the word I'm looking for? You're trying to find out where you fit in on this. Now, if you want to follow, if you want to be an atheist, that's great. Be an atheist. I don't have an issue with that. If you're an agnostic, be an agnostic. If you're a deist, be a deist. That's cool. But make sure that whatever position you find is one that works best for you as an individual, not necessarily because a whole bunch of people in your comment section down below are saying, oh great, be an atheist. Find what works best for you. And if you find yourself in a position where right now you don't know one way or another, that's great. That is actually a very good thing, because at this particular point in time, maybe you don't need to know. Maybe you need to focus more on what's going on in your life, as opposed to trying to answer the big, theological questions, because quite frankly, nobody's going to be able to answer those. One of the things you also want to keep in mind is that religion and science are different in many ways, because they answer completely different sets of questions. One focuses more on philosophy and the development of the mind, where the other focuses more on observation of available data and what's observable before them. And also keep in mind, there is a limit as to what science can and cannot do at this particular point in time. There's limits as to what can be discovered at this particular point in time. Case in point, it wasn't until recently that we discovered the concept of infrared radiation. We've known that there was something to it, we just never knew exactly what it was. But I would suggest Googling the discovery of infrared radiation and ultraviolet radiation to see where, maybe at this particular point in time, asking for scientific proof on something that is considered to be infinite and capable of doing a lot may be out of our price range at this particular point in time. Now, that's not to say that science doesn't have a value. It does. but it focuses more on observable phenomena, whereas theology and spirituality focus more on what's going on inside of here. Where the gods are not necessarily real beings that are out there doing stuff, but more like archetypes in here that is basically our subconscious trying to work with us to learn whatever it is that we need to learn. Anyway, but like I said before, find your own path, find what works for you, but make sure that it's something that you want and not necessarily what people around you want. Because if you do something people around you want, it's only going to mess you up later on. This is Dumac the Artist signing off. Sanchini Falcha. Have a nice day.